my top 5 films of 2015. Let's talk about it. What's going on, peeps? Before I get started, I would like to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope 2015 was awesome and 2016 continues to be great for all of my viewers, and I hope you continue to join me in 2016 and just tune into my channel and continue these discussions. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a list from my favorite video games, but this particular list that I'm doing right now is going to be for films. Now, I don't want to do a traditional, like, here's my top 10 and count down to my number 1. I don't want to do that. I just want to have a little discussion and give you just my brief thoughts on some of the films that I enjoyed. So I initially wanted to just do a top 3. That's a little bit difficult because 4 and 5 are kind of really hard for me to kind of pick one over the other. So I'm just going to do my top 5 and really break down the top 3. So number 5 is Creed. Great film. Wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, and I'm just going to kind of leave it there because there's not much really to talk about without giving anything away or really talking about the main plot. Number 4 is going to be Ex Machina. I really liked Ex Machina. It was just a very creepy kind of vibe that the film gave. Really beautiful cinematography, and I really enjoy that type of film. I love films like The Shining, and I love films where there's kind of like this open space but there's seclusion. That's why I like Alien and Prometheus. And Ex Machina, although it's a very different kind of film, it has that vibe, and I really enjoy that. So if you haven't seen Ex Machina, you should check that out. Number 3 is and this is where I really ran into trouble, because number 3 and number 2, it's kind of neck and neck. But number 3 goes to The Hateful Eight. Quentin Tarantino is a genius. Not many people can pull off what he pulls off. It kind of makes me sad to think that he keeps saying that this, he's probably going to only do 10 films, which would only leave him about 2 more films, because I think he is just a genius. And if you look at his body of work, if you look at his 8 films, and I have all of them, obviously, except for The Hateful Eight. But if you look at those films, each and every one of them kind of have something that linked to all of his films as far as the feel and the vibe. But then they're all vastly different from one another. Even Kill Bill 1 and 2 were quite different from one another in many ways. So The Hateful Eight, I don't want to give away too much of this film. It's kind of like the vibe. If you ever seen Inglourious Bastards and you see that scene where they're all sitting at the table at the bar and this dialogue is going back and forth, it almost has that kind of vibe, but for the whole film. So everybody is kind of playing their kind of role, and everybody seems to have like a secret or something about them that they don't really want revealed, and you kind of get that vibe the whole thing until the end, where it absolutely just goes crazy. Like it's a long film. It's about 3 hours, and most of it is just building tension, but then once it gets to a certain point, he just lets loose, and it becomes this psychotic, crazy, and fun ending. So if you haven't seen The Hateful Eight, check that out. It came out at the same time as Star Wars came out, so right around the same time. So it's probably going to be under the radar, which is unfortunate, because I think Quentin Tarantino and the actors involved in this film, which they all did a great job, deserve a lot of recognition. So The Hateful Eight, great film. Definitely you want to check that out. Number 2 was Star Wars. Star Wars was unexpected for me, because we know that the hype was building, and then they released Battlefront and just all the hype building in Star Wars, and everybody was talking about it, and people were even trolling on random comments about different videos, giving spoilers, and it was just generating so much hype. And I know it recently took over the record that Avatar had. as far as a number one grossing film or whatever. So major accomplishments, and usually those kind of blockbusters don't usually make my top 5 films of the year. You know, these big blockbusters. It's rare that that does happen. Summer blockbuster type films, even though this isn't the summer, this is, end of the year, winter, this came out. But usually those big blockbuster films, those popcorn films, usually don't do it for me as far as, I don't get too hyped over Fast and Furious or some of the comic book films that come out, even though I like a lot of them, but they usually don't hit my top 5. This one has. One thing that I really liked about it is that it had a female lead. And I know one controversial thing that just happened that's going on this week is that a lot of like the toys and action figures for Star Wars didn't include the main character, Rey, which is a female, which I found kind of weird. I think that the fact that she is the lead, and I'm giving away a little bit because I'm sure by now it's the number one grossing film ever, so I'm sure most of you have seen it. But I really like the fact that it's not just your cookie cutter male Hollywood boy that they throw out there. And not to take anything away from some of these guys, but it gets a little tiresome to see that, the same kind of, white guy with the scruffy haircut and semi-built but not too built, and, always had these little smart-ass comments. I really like the fact that the 2 main characters in lead is a black male and a white female, and they're just in this universe, and they're, this universe that we're all familiar with, and they just happen to be there, and it's their story and how their story kind of links to things in the past. I really think it's great, and I really like the fact that they went that route with Star Wars, because it brings in a new audience, and it just makes it original enough to where it's not like the old ones, and it's not a huge departure from what we're used to seeing with Star Wars. So if you haven't seen Star Wars, if you're not a big Star Wars fan, check it out anyway. This may be the film that brings you into this franchise. My number 1 film of 2015 is Mad Max. Wow, Mad Max. It's a great movie, and I'm going to tell you why it's a great movie. It's not a great movie for the acting, even though the acting is good. It's not a great film for like major drama or anything like that, because it doesn't have that. Even a lot of the dialogue is kind of limited. It's an action film, high octane action film, and typically you will never see these kind of films on my top list. All of these films, for the most part, for the exception of The Hateful Eight, is either sci-fi or an action. And usually I love those films, but usually they're not my top. Usually it's some kind of drama that gets my top 5 or top 10 or whatever it is. But this year is a little bit different. And again, we had a very strong female presence in this film. Charlize Theron wasn't exactly the lead. I'd say she was a co-star, because obviously it's a Mad Max film, but even to the point where they're considering making a Furiosa film, her character all on its own, because she was so interesting and so compelling. And I love the fact that she was a female, but that wasn't part of the story. She could have very well easily been a male, because her gender, her sex really didn't play a role in it. She was just a badass character, actually with a disability as well. They didn't use Charlize Theron as beautiful, but they didn't use her sexuality at all. Her beauty, none of that really played into who she was as a character. And that's one of the things that really made it great. But of course, the greatest thing is the action. And again, I have to emphasize, this is a real big change from what I normally gravitate towards when I'm talking about my favorite movies, because as much as I like some action films and I like sci-fi and I like those kind of things, usually they're not my top. So for Mad Max to hit my top and it'd be probably about 85% action, says a lot about how well done action scenes are. Most of it is practical effects. Obviously, there's going to be some CG that kind of hides a lot of the wires and things that are going on there. But for the most part, the stunts and everything that you see, somebody was actually doing that. And you don't see that stuff anymore in films. And, to see that now in HD, with some nice close-ups and some nice, when they bring the camera back and you see all of this stuff happening and all of these sequences and everything going on, it's just breathtaking. Now, I understand that Mad Max isn't for everybody. There are some people who aren't really fond of action films, aren't really fond of post-apocalyptic action films. Hey, you might not even like the violence that's in the film. You might not like that sort of stuff, but I would say just give it a chance. Check it out and try to appreciate it for what it is if you haven't seen it. Because Mad Max is definitely worth at least one sit down. It's really that good, no matter what kind of film that you like. But anyway, those are my top 5. Let me know what you think. Did you like, was your favorite film Mad Max or Star Wars, or what was it? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And once again, thank you for watching. Mastermind out.